What's up, boopers? It's been a long time since we had a story video, and some of you longtime subscribers have probably been wondering why I've been so into classic World of Warcraft lately. So I wanted to share today with you all my story about how I first experienced vanilla World of Warcraft as my first MMORPG, and how I was talked into becoming a ninja looter and got completely blacklisted by everybody on my server. It sounds really bad, but hear me out. To understand how this happened, we need to go back to the beginning of how I got into World of Warcraft in the first place. So I was introduced to Warcraft 2 when I was 9 years old by my uncle while all my friends were still playing Smash Brothers. I got hooked really fast, and it didn't take very long before I found a website called heat.net where you could play online, before Battle.net was a thing yet. Now I got destroyed left and right, but I made a lot of friends that would eventually become my World of Warcraft guildmates. So when Battle.net did come out, we all swapped over to Battle.net and we played there, and then we swapped over to Warcraft 3 and the Frozen Throne. We had a clan that got pretty damn big, and I was pretty competitive as well at the game. I freaking loved it. I was rushing home after school every day, just grinding out the portraits for the different races on my account, playing in the tournaments, etc. Most of the guys in my clan were older than me, and some were better, but we all got along super well and spent hours playing Warcraft 3 or the Dota custom map together. And then there were rumors, whispers of an MMORPG being released in the Warcraft universe. What the hell was an MMORPG? A game where you get to live inside Warcraft? Holy shit! 15-year-old me's dick nearly blew off. I saw the original screenshots they had on this old website. I wasn't satisfied. I needed to learn more. I needed to see more of Warcraft. Eventually, I found my way to the World of Warcraft game client. It was in a pre-alpha state. Someone had made it so you could walk around in the empty game world. I did this for hours. I distinctly remember walking around what is now Arathi Highlands. I remember finding some empty caves hidden in the mountains. My imagination was just running wild with what mysteries would be in that cave when the game comes out. Maybe a secret wizard who would train you a magical spell that nobody else could learn. That place is now known as Faldir's Cove, by the way. There's no magical wizard there. But anyway, something happened then. I actually moved in real life to another part of the city. I had to start a new school at the same time I was starting high school, so I kind of stopped playing PC games for a while. I forgot about Warcraft 3. I jumped on sometimes, still playing Dota, and binged on Diablo 2 a bit, but it was all about making my new friends in high school and playing Halo LAN parties for a while. I remember my Heat.net friends were still messaging me on AIM about World of Warcraft's coming out soon. They said they'd all be playing it instead of Warcraft 3, and I was just not really paying attention to it for some reason. That Christmas though, a month after World of Warcraft had released, waiting underneath the Christmas tree was a small wrapped box from my oldest sister. She had heard the game's popularity through her friends and online, and thought that I would probably love this given how much I used to like Warcraft 3. I didn't know that I really wanted it. I had in the past, but I had forgotten. And when I saw the box, I got filled with excitement. As soon as the Christmas rituals were done, I ran downstairs to our PC and started installing it. I registered my online account using that same email address from Heat.net. First, I asked my online buddies as I opened up AIM messages with them, "What server are you guys playing on?" "Warsong," they said. "What faction are you guys playing?" "Horde," they said. "What classes does the clan need the most?" "Shaman," they said. It was decided. I created her, my first character, a female orc shaman named Aizla. I even have some old screenshots still thanks to Photobucket. Not very many though. At this point, most of my guildies were pretty high level. But no surprise though, most of them were not level 60 yet. It was only a month after the game had launched, and the servers were having a lot of issues those first weeks. I remember finishing up the Durotar quests and running to Orgrimmar for the first time, and seeing one of my guildies, a level 60 troll priest, riding on a big white raptor, running past me to give me some bags to help me starting out. I saw that mount and I thought, holy shit, I want one of those. I saw his gear. He looked badass. I thought, holy shit, I want to get 60, play with that guy, all my guildies, and look at that badass. And that was it for me. I was hooked. I leveled through the zones quickly, occasionally partying up with some guildmates or some strangers. I was enhancement, I sucked, I died a lot. I quickly learned the power of Frost Shock though, and how it was great for PvP against Alliance, but I also quickly learned to hate Paladins, because for some reason, Purge didn't work on Divine Shield, and that was bullshit. But when I caught up in level to our main tank and other guildies, he wanted this item out of Mauradon. I didn't know what the item was, or what the hell Mauradon was, but yeah, I went with them, and it was just nothing but great memories. I leveled up to 60 within a month. And I remember distinctly those last levels with that same main tank warrior. We had long since run out of quests and gotten tired of trying to farm the purple sword from Sunken Temple that he really wanted for some reason. And I remember just pulling insane amounts of undead in the western Flagland farms and just barely living between each pull, the two of us, until we finally both hit 60. Then we were ready. The main tank was 60. It was time to brave the Molten Core. What was the Molten Core, you ask? I had no freaking clue, but my guildies were all excited to try it. We didn't have enough people in our guild though, so we formed an alliance of horde guilds to brave the Molten Core. Where was the Molten Core, you ask? I didn't know that either, but apparently it was this green portal hidden at the back of the Blackrock depths. I didn't even know where the Blackrock depths were, to be honest. But I just followed my guild, and we 40-man steamrolled through the dungeon and got into the Molten Core. Holy shit! The size of those molten giants, the size of the raid, the amount of people playing together, it blew my tiny little high school brain. I thought 8-player LAN Halo matches were cool. This was on another level. And the best part, my FPS. I could barely see shit. I just threw out some lesser healing waves and some chain heals. The raid died twice to lava spawns overwhelming us, just trying to get through the trash. And then when we died to the flame imps as well, we had to always run all the way back through BRD just to get back to the Molten Core. I'm sure half of the people were just dying because they had 0 FPS like I did. We struggled and we coordinated and we took down the Molten Hounds, and there he was, standing before us. Lucifron, the first raid boss. Up until now, no raid boss had been killed on our server. We fought him. We had curses on everyone. Everyone was going out of mana. We were getting mind controlled. Everyone was dying left and right. We strategically placed the resto shamans with healers and mages, and I had to respec from enhancement to resto just to give everybody mana tide, so we had enough mana to decurse. And after 4 hours, I shit you not, 4 hours, we finally took out Lucifron, server first. The first raid loot dropped, those amazing shiny looking purple items. I didn't get any, man, but that high was addictive to finally get that first boss taken out. But I knew my gear wasn't gonna cut it. Jumping right into raids after hitting 60 was not good. I needed to get some dungeon gear. We tried Magmadar a bit, but we died terribly. None of our tanks were that geared, and honestly, none of us were very good back then, when we all had shit FPS. So I began my quest to get gear. I headed into Lower Blackrock Spire. I got my first set piece. A piece of the Elements set dropped, and oh man was I excited. I looked up online on Alakazam and Thoughtbot about where to get all the other Elements pieces. I wrote down the names of all the bosses on a piece of paper. I didn't even know where half of these bosses were. And then I began my quest. And it wasn't a week after I hit 60 that it happened. That fateful day where Aizla, my first level 60 character, made a mistake that would change my fate forever. That's a little bit too dramatic, but it was a cold and dark, stormy night. Actually, I don't really remember the weather. I was in my mom's basement, but I headed up into Upper Blackrock Spire with a big raid group of 15 players, seeking to kill Lord Dracasath for my next piece of the Elements set. I had only gotten 2 so far, so I was hungry. We were just outside the beast's room, clearing the trash, when it dropped. A blue, one like nothing our server had ever seen before. A tailoring pattern to be exact. The pattern for the bottomless bag, an 18-slot bag. The first pattern to see the light of day in our server. Oh boy, was everybody excited. I was so excited, I typed in guild chat to my guildies. I said, "Holy shit guys, a bottomless bag pattern dropped." Our guildmaster was online. He said, "Hakurai, roll need on it. We need that pattern for the guild." There was one little problem though. The loot was on master loot. The leader of our Upper Blackrock Spire group said in chat, "Tailors only, roll 100. But boopers, I wasn't a tailor. I digressed with my guildmaster and guildmates. They said, "Hakurai, you need to roll anyway. There's no way they'll know you aren't a tailor." So I rolled. And I won against the 2 other tailors in the party. The pattern was placed in my inventory. I had gotten away with it. I had successfully ninja looted my first item. I felt excited and guilty all at the same time. But the other tailors in the group were not so easily fooled. They were suspicious. Why would a shaman be a tailor? They asked me to link something in the chat that a tailor could craft. You see, at this point in World of Warcraft, you could only link things from your character's inventory or abilities. You could not relink other people's links without a special add-on. It was a surefire way to prove if I was or wasn't a tailor. I panicked. I started scouring through my bags, desperately trying to find something. And I did. I had one single tailoring item on my person. My shirt that I was wearing. A white linen shirt. I linked it in the raid chat. It was quiet for a moment. Then the tank began the next pull, and the tension seemed to break. Everyone seemed satisfied. We started killing the trash again. I released a big breath of fresh air. Whew. My guild was cheering me on, excited. My guildmaster, who was a tailor, was eagerly awaiting for my dungeon to finish so I could give him the pattern. But it wasn't so easy. The tailors were not satisfied. They stopped the pulls. They said, "Hey, you just linked the shirt you were wearing." A rookie mistake. I didn't unequip it. They said, "Link something else, or give that pattern to the real tailors." I panicked. The pulls stopped again. Everyone was waiting for me to link something. I couldn't. I wasn't a tailor. The other raid members began to chime in. They said, "Hey, if you aren't a tailor, give that to the second highest roller, man. Hey, don't take that if you can't use it." I consulted with my guildmaster. He said, "Screw those guys, don't give it back." Now, you need to understand, I have been playing with these guys since I was 9 years old, since Heat.net. They were older, they were wiser, and I trusted them. I couldn't handle the confrontation. I left the group and I hearthed back to Orgrimmar. Waiting on top of the bank, my excited guild leader opened his trade. I gave him the pattern. He immediately began buying up mooncloth to craft the bags. He was selling them for tons of gold, and not 10 minutes later, everyone was spamming trade chat about where those bags had come from, about what I had done. My guild leader told me, "Don't worry, Hakurai, they'll forget about this in a bit." It was late at night. I went to bed and I hoped everyone would forget in the morning and it would all be okay. The next day, I logged in. I got messages from my guildmates saying, "Hakurai, there's a thread about you on the Realm forums." I hopped on the Realm forums to read it. A warning to all Horde players of Warsong. Do not group with Aesla, the Orc Shaman. He is a ninja looter who stole the bottomless bag pattern. All of the comments were of people appalled, community members that I had grouped with that I recognized from our server, all of them disgusted by my behavior. How could I do such a horrid thing? My guildmates reassured me that, "Don't worry, Hakurai, we'll still play with you. You took one for the team." But most of my guildmates weren't 60. I wanted to get my elements set. I had planned on how to get that all night and day during class and at school. I tried joining a Pug Stratholm run. I got kicked. I tried joining the Skolomance group. No one would invite me. LBRS, UBRS, BRD, all nothing. Either no invite or an instant kick. It was over. I felt so alone and so sad, like all of my hopes of gearing up my shaman were over. High school me decided there was only one choice left. I had to re-roll. Somewhere new, somewhere fresh, somewhere else where nobody knew what I had done. A completely fresh start. And that was the end of Aesla, my very first character in World of Warcraft, and the beginning of my Alliance Priest. And I'll be honest with you guys, the next part of my WoW experience wasn't really much better. You see, my alliance priest was a female night elf, where I pretended to be a girl and got a free WoW account, but that's a story for another video. As for my guild, I did end up playing with them again later on, and I can go into more stories about my vanilla WoW life if you guys like to hear them. I just thought it was a fun story to tell. So let me know if you guys enjoy these kinds of videos, and I might put some more out. I'd love to hear some of the crazy ass vanilla stories that you guys have, so don't be shy about leaving them in the comments section below. I read almost all the comments, even the mean ones. But until next time, I am booping out. Boop.